there was our perch where we spoke from. You know, there's so much that could be said, but let's just say we were here 19 days from when we came in here. What we thought was going to happen is that we would be arrested before sunset, we'd go to jail, bail out, and then we'd have our court cases to make our case against the university and the way that they had messed up our financial aid, and we're trying to really limit the growth of our program is what it boiled down to. When we took over the building, it was like just before 8 o'clock in the morning. Our director didn't show up for work till about 11, and he was dressed for tennis, and he was looking for his tennis rackets and his tennis balls. So we threw them at him. And yeah, we threw the tennis racket, tennis ball from that window right there. But you know, there's a lot of people don't know how this all ended. You know, we were right here on these steps when the first bomb went off. Chautauqua Park over here. We could hear it from here. It was a very loud bang. I always thought it was like a large door being slammed shut. And but it was early the next morning that we found out what had happened. And that was on the 27th. And then on the 28th, we had a rally. Maybe roughly the number of people that are here now, maybe a few more. But you got to realize we were in here for 19 days, and in those 19 days, the semester ended, final grades were passed out, the graduation took place, and this campus was dead.
Quiet, like it is today, on Sunday.
And they were waiting us out. They just thought we would go away. But on the 28th, we gathered here to mourn the three that had died on the 27th. Reyes, Neva, and Una. The reality was just setting in, and Freddy Granado was here that night on the 28th. Heriberto Terán was with him, and I believe Francisco Dordery was with him also. There were some Tejanos that I had not met before. And then, as you know, on the next night, the three, Granado, Terán, and Doherty, died in a blast. But, you know, when we were in here, after about 3 days, they cut off our communication. They shut off the phones. We weren't able to receive or make calls. But after the second bombing, I don't know if it was like the very first day or later in the day, but the phone rang. And it was somebody from the university, and they said that they wanted to meet and negotiate an end to our occupation. And myself and a law student by the name of Manuel Lopez went and met with James Corbridge. James Corbridge was the vice president or vice chancellor, I can't remember, but he was the number 2 guy in the administration here. We sat down and we negotiated an end to the occupation. One of the conditions of the end of the occupation, of course, was to remove Franco and Acosta from the director leadership of our program. They didn't fire them. They put them in other jobs in the university. But we also negotiated that we would have a student co-director and a staff co-director, so that the students would all have a voice in the administration of UMass EOP. And we had an election. I was elected the first student co-director. And so I always said that my friends that were here for the occupation, when it was over, they got to go home. But when it was over, I got to stay, and I got to stay and launch that year's summer program and and pick up the pieces that we could and keep the program alive. And I did that through the end of the year. In December, we went to Jalapa, Veracruz. But there's just so much emotion. I mean, you know, this is sacred ground, in my opinion. The very first day, we burned a coffin out here because we said that UMass was dead, that the university had killed UMass, and we buried it. We burned it, and we buried it, and we put up a cross. And it's kind of strange how that all came about. I would be glad to answer questions or let somebody else talk.